conservative new media viewers and J-Lin fans around the world. What's going on? This is Paul F. Villarreal. We're here to analyze and discuss the Houston Rockets' 107-100 loss to the Philadelphia 76ers last night. With the loss, Houston falls to 21-17 on the year. They have lost 3 games in a row, and they were playing their 4th game in 5 nights against Philadelphia, which, as I mentioned in the previous video, usually means that the team loses, particularly when you're playing that game, that 4th game on the road, which is the case that Houston was in last night. And I said in the video yesterday that I wouldn't be surprised if they lost and they ended up losing. Now, I think Philly may have been on a 5-game losing streak of their own, but they had a lot of rest going into this game. I think their last game was on Wednesday, so they had 2 days of rest and practice, and Houston didn't. And I think that made a big difference in this game. Going over the stat sheet, the stats were pretty close. There wasn't anything you could look at and say, yep, that's why Houston lost. It was just a little bit here, little bit there, quarter by quarter, and it just added up. And Houston ended up losing the game. I thought Houston just missed a lot of open shots, and that will happen when your legs are tired. And I think Houston was a little bit tired. As we've talked about before, this month, January 2013, is the toughest month probably of Houston's schedule. They have a lot of back-to-back games, and they have a lot of road games. And it's going to keep being difficult. The next game Houston plays is this upcoming Tuesday against the Los Angeles Clippers. The good news is that it's in Houston. The bad news is that the Clippers are one of the top 3 teams in the league. So it's not going to be an easy game. But look, Houston just has to just stay tough right now. Just stay focused. You know this is going to be a tough part of the schedule. So just relax and do what you can do, and then wait until the schedule gets a little easier. Okay, let's talk about Jeremy. Jeremy struggled in this game, and most of his struggles were on shooting. He missed a bunch of shots, and he missed a lot of layups in this game, layups that he would normally make. And you saw this right from the start of the game. Very early in the game, he drove the baseline going right to left, came up under the left side of the lane, and he missed a little layup. That's a shot he's going to make most of the time, and he missed a couple shots like that in this game. Just relatively easy layups. Now, to give credit to Philly, their statistics don't reflect it this year, but they're a good defensive team. They rotate well. They understand their defensive principles well. Guys know where they are supposed to be, and they're usually there. And they're pretty young. They're pretty athletic. So they can make it tough against an opposing team. And I think that happened to Houston. Philly had a lot of energy on defense, and they made it difficult for Houston. Although, as I said, Houston just missed a lot of open shots. Jeremy had 7 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists in 38 minutes. He shot 2 of 13 from the field. It was 0 of 3 on three-pointers. He was 3 of 4 in free throws. He had 3 steals, no block shots, 1 turnover. He was a +8 for the game, plus minus, and his efficiency number, all the positive stats minus the negative stats, was 6. Jeremy had the highest plus-minus figure on the team, and Jeremy only had the 1 turnover. 5 assists, 1 turnover, 5-to-1 ratio. That's phenomenal. That was really great. For him to play 38 minutes, and he was pretty tired, I thought, and only have 1 turnover against a team that was rested, and they were on him. And we'll talk more about that. They were up on him, looking to steal the ball and everything, but he only had 1 turnover. And I remember the turnover. I think it was in the second quarter. Jeremy was coming down the lane on a drive, and I think it was in transition. he wanted to pass the ball ahead to, it was either Marcus Morris or Patrick Patterson. And the center for the Sixers, Spencer Hawes, anticipated it. He knew what Jeremy was going to do, and he intercepted the pass. So it wasn't a bad turnover. So that was the only turnover that Jeremy had. He's handling the ball most of the time in 38 minutes. That's very good. It's very good. Now, Jeremy was thoroughly outplayed by 76ers point guard Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday had 30 points, 3 boards, 9 assists. He shot 50% from the field, and his efficiency number was 30. So basically 5 times more what Jeremy's was. You can definitely put Drew Holiday's name now on the revenge tour list. Drew did not play in the first game between these two teams, which took place in Houston, and I'm pretty sure Houston won. Look, Drew is an excellent player. He's in his 4th year in the league, but he's only 22, so he's younger than Jeremy. He's not somebody that gets talked about a lot, but he's a terrific player. He's actually relatively similar to Jeremy in some respects. They're close to the same size. Drew Holiday is listed at 6'4" and 205 pounds, which is very big for a point guard. I mean, we talk about how big Jeremy is, being about 6'3" and 195 or 200. Well, Drew's even bigger, or he's roughly the same size. The difference is Drew's a little bit more athletic than Jeremy is, and he's more polished. He has more point guard skills than Jeremy does, even though he's younger than Jeremy because he's been around longer. Just like James Harden's been around longer, he's more polished even though he's younger than Jeremy. So this was a tough matchup for Jeremy, and it was particularly tough because it was the 4th game in 5 nights. If Jeremy was fresh coming into this game, I think it would have been a different story. Now, we saw Drew, he posted up Jeremy at least one time. You see Jeremy do this to a lot of smaller guards. Well, Drew was trying to do it against Jeremy. And I thought early in this game, Drew wasn't showing Jeremy much respect. And as I mentioned in the last game video, Jeremy's gone through most of the league now in terms of playing against different teams. He's played against 21 out of 29 opposing teams. He's played most of the other point guards in the league, but he didn't play against Drew Holiday before. And I could tell that Drew was trying to go at him. He was trying to go at him in the same way that other guys were earlier in the year when it was the whole, oh, is Jeremy a bust stage of the season. You know, if you notice, Drew was, you know, the little subtle things, trying to punk somebody out. Jeremy drives by, you try to reach around for that little behind-the-back steal, hounding him, little silly stuff that when you respect a guy more, you won't do that as much. So Drew is doing that, and particularly in the first half of this game. And there will still be situations for Jeremy like this. Not many of them. As I said, there's only 8 other teams to play, and he's played most of the guards already. So, and he's gotten their respect and showed them, hey, don't do that, or I'm going to burn you. You know, you try to do that little stuff, or I'm going to torch you. I'm going to take the ball to the basket or whatever. But Drew is, you know, this was definitely Drew's chance to take a run at Jeremy. And he did. And look, I mean, it worked well for him tonight. He played well. And I told you guys this in one of the recent videos, which is if guys don't respect your game, whether they should or not, just in their own mind, if they don't respect it and don't think that they have to respect it, they can play better. Now, I said in the other video, they'll play beyond their ability level. Well, that's not really true. I mean, obviously, you have the ability to play well if you play well. What I really meant is you'll play better than you normally would because you're not concerned about the opposition. It's like, yeah, I'm just, it's like me, playing like a little brother in the back door, backyard basketball hoop. I can do whatever I want because I know he's not going to stop me. I'm twice as the height of him or whatever, and I can just do anything I want. That's kind of what's going on here with these guys when they go against Jeremy sometimes for the first time, and they do well, whatever. And I think there was some of that with Drew. It's like, yeah, I'm good, I'm great. Jeremy's nothing, and I'm going to do whatever I want. So he was hitting all of his shots and doing everything, particularly in the first half. But in the third quarter, Jeremy started turning up the heat. He started to get some steals. He got a steal on Drew, I believe, and he got another steal and was starting to, he's driving to the hoop and getting fouled. And it's like, oh, yeah. Oh, I guess it's not as easy as you thought it was, Drew Holiday. So that was good. Drew still clearly outplayed Jeremy, but Jeremy got a little get back. And then again, that's how you end up. That's how you put guys in place. That's how you get respect. And look, this game reminded me for Jeremy of the game against Oklahoma City a couple of weeks ago when they had that 2-game losing streak to San Antonio and then Oklahoma City. Jeremy was tired in that game. He was frustrated. Westbrook and Martin were trying to go at him a little bit, and he knew it, but he was too tired to do anything about it. That's kind of what happened tonight. That game, the Oklahoma City game, I believe, that was the 4th game in 5 nights, just like the Philly game was tonight. That's when guys are tired and they might not play up to their best. So I think a little bit of that happened to Jeremy tonight. I'm sure he was frustrated about it. If you think somebody's trying to go at you, you want to go back at them. And depending on the NBA schedule, you might not have the energy to do that. If you saw, I remember I showed Jeremy sitting down, I think, in the third quarter late, and he was tired. You could see he was breathing heavy. He was fatigued. So he wasn't at his best. But like I said, you can put Drew Holiday on the revenge tour for next year. These two teams won't play again this season. And as I've said recently, the revenge tour list really isn't that big. The only other teams on the list I would put right now or players would be Oklahoma City, kind of, Miami, kind of, and now Drew Holiday. There really isn't anybody. I mentioned before that Jose Calderon was on the list, but Houston beat Toronto earlier this year, and Jeremy played fine. I've forgotten about that, so I don't know if they're even on the list. Oklahoma City, they respect Jeremy. I know Westbrook respects him. Kevin Martin, whatever. I mean, that's just not a huge deal. It's shooting guard. Kevin Martin's a shooting guard. Jeremy's a point guard, so it's not that big of a deal. It's would I like Jeremy to do well against Kevin Martin? Sure. But is it really important? No. Miami, that's just payback for last year. But the two teams played this year, and there wasn't any. They weren't trying to make Jeremy look bad or whatever. So that's like an old revenge tour thing. So really, I mean, the only person on the list right now is Drew Holiday. And, basically he and Jeremy played one time. Now, did they probably played last year when Jeremy was a Knick, and I have to look that up. I do know, if you remember from last year, that Jeremy had that huge fourth quarter against the Sixers when he scored like 17 points in the fourth quarter. Did that come against Drew? It might have. It may have. So maybe this was Drew's payback game. I don't know. I'd have to look at that. But Jeremy has faced him before because I know Drew was getting plenty of playing time last year. Although he might not have been I'm not sure if he was the starter last year. He might have been rotating in with Lou Williams and some other guys. But that's about it. Like I said, Drew got the better of him. And that's the way it goes. Drew's an excellent guard. You don't hear, as I said, you don't hear him talked about a lot, but he's very talented and he's going to be around for a long time. Okay. The summary of this game was this was a tough loss for Houston. You never want to lose 3 in a row, but it wasn't unexpected. 4th game in 5 nights against a rested and motivated team. As I mentioned, this is the toughest month of the year for Houston in terms of schedule. Their schedule is relatively tough the rest of the way, but this is probably the toughest month still because of the back-to-backs and because they're out on the road a lot. Now, this is the time of the year, because the schedule is tough, that the team is going to want to work to try to get James Anderson, Patrick Beverley, and possibly Terrell Harris in the mix as more bench playing guys. We've talked about all three of those guys in recent videos. They're all guards. Anderson's a shooting guard. Beverley's a combination point guard, shooting guard. Terrell Harris is a combination point guard, shooting guard. James Anderson can also play a little bit of small forward, but mostly these guys are all three guards. Hopefully, these guys will show something in practice and scrimmages and stuff, and they'll be ready to come in and do some things. If Houston, I think it'd be good if Houston had one more player in their guard rotation, although they kind of have a four-guard rotation right now with Lin, Harden, Tony Douglas, and Delfino. I'm comfortable with Delfino playing guard because he's got skills to play guard. He dribbles well. He passes well. So it would be nice, though, if the team had maybe one other guy that they could put in there. So when you're playing these when you're on fourth game in 5 nights, you got some fresh legs, particularly if that person can score the ball a little bit. As we've talked about before, sometimes that's a struggle when James Harden is not on the court. Yes, Jrue Holiday did outplay Jeremy pretty badly, but Jeremy played well himself. As I said, just one turnover. The problem for him tonight was he didn't shoot well, including on layups. Now, if you're not shooting well, your statistics aren't going to look very good, and that's what happened tonight. But still, 5 assists, 1 turnover. That's excellent. And Jeremy, I think I mentioned, had the best plus-minus on the team, so he didn't play that badly. Next game, Tuesday, against the Clippers in Houston. That's going to be a very good test for Jeremy because he's going against Chris Paul, who has a real shot at winning the MVP this year. So it's doesn't get any better than Chris Paul, in my opinion. Now, just some quick comments. I am going to do still a comment video. I mentioned that the other day. I want to do that, especially a lot of the comments from the New Orleans Hornets game video. And, Miss Proof asking me about Bleacher Report and some other stuff. But I'm going to talk about some of the other comments here anyway, but I will still do the video when I get the chance. Thanks for being patient on this video. You guys know this has been a tough stretch for me. This video is quite late. I'm not going to keep talking about it. I mean, the videos aren't about me. I'm just, I appreciate you guys being patient. Sorry for all the regular viewers. This little thing of me and being sick and late videos will end soon. Okay, so let's just do some comments here. Hanny Chang from Taiwan, just want to say thanks. We appreciate that you listen to the videos and watch the videos after every game. Really appreciate that. I will say the same to Rita Wu, also from Taiwan. Just I'm glad that you enjoy watching these videos after the game. We like doing them. I enjoy these videos. I like Jeremy a lot. We certainly have a lot of respect for all the people over in Asia. Taiwan, China, Singapore, Macau, Hong Kong, Philippines, all of Southeast Asia, Laos, Cambodia, Malaysia, Indonesia. And we understand, obviously Jeremy is of Taiwanese ancestry. And I'm sure this is very exciting, and it is. It's fun. I mean, I enjoy it. I'm glad. I love watching Jeremy play. And our mother actually got to go over to Taiwan probably about 20 years ago now. She loved it. She enjoyed it a lot. She was working with a college, and she got to go over there. And I remember she came back. She bought John and I the little small statues of lions. And I think, they're kind of like what we would say in English is a ward, which is to kind of like to keep keep the bad spirits away, I believe is what she told me. It was cool. Like the little lion had a sword that you put in its mouth, and then the sword had little tassels. Very nice. And obviously she got those from Taiwan, and it's great. Like I said, we appreciate the Taiwanese people and the Taiwanese culture. I'd love to get over there at some point. I'm not sure when that's going to happen, but I'd love to go and visit there sometime. Shiwei, again, thanks for the kind words. Glad that you enjoy these videos, and like I said, I enjoy making them, and it's just fun. It's fun. I mean, we all enjoy watching Jeremy and watching Houston, and it's great. Steppen 03, glad that you enjoy the longer videos, and the goal of the videos is to help out people who don't get to see the games. As you mentioned, sometimes you don't get to see them, and the people that don't study the game or analyze a game. People that are just starting to watch basketball because they like Jeremy Lin. And they want to learn more about the game. They want to understand the game better. And that's what I'm trying to do. That's what we're trying to do, is help out with that. I know, like in other sports, like in American football, they will have little camps, or they'll bring people in and they'll like go over all the rules and everything, just to help people that want to learn about the game understand it better. And that's what I'm doing here. Now, again, I'm not saying that in an arrogant way, like, oh, I know and nobody else knows anything, or, you, the viewer, don't know. No, it's just that I have a passion for the game, and I've been involved in the game for 30 years. So, I mean, there's things I'm going to know that people that are just starting to learn the game aren't going to know. And that's what I'm trying to help share with people, so that everybody can be an expert and everybody can understand what Jeremy's going through, and they can see it for themselves. It's like, the teaching, the parable in the Bible about the fisherman. Catch a man a fish, or teach a man to fish. Well, I'm trying to teach a man to fish, in the sense that if I help people understand some of these things, then they can see them for themselves too. And then they'll be able to enjoy the games more, or catch more things for themselves. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. It's kind of like, it's like a game extra. If you watch any of these sports, they'll have a thing after the game, and they break down the game, and that's what I'm trying to do. C Chang 42, glad that you enjoyed the videos. Thanks a lot. Glad that you think that the analysis that we give is useful. I appreciate that. Justin Fuller, I hadn't even thought about that, the mechanical aspects of how Jeremy's dribbling and how he's using his wrist and stuff. It's a good observation by you. Honestly, I have to study it more. I haven't watched his wrist enough to see what he's doing. I just haven't looked at that enough. That's something I can keep my eyes out for in the future. I do agree with you, though. When Jeremy is driving to the basket, he can kind of tuck the ball in there like a running back does in American football. I actually think he did a little bit of that in the Philly game. One drive, he went through two guys, and he had the ball tucked in pretty good. Well, unfortunately, he ended up missing the shot. It was like a scoop layup, and he missed it. So if he is going to tuck the ball in, then he's going to have to learn when and how to untuck it in time so he can make the shot. But like I said, I just think a lot of that was tired legs. Minji Chow, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Jeremy knows about these videos. I'm not saying he does know about them, but first of all, Jeremy's a very tech-savvy guy. And he's done videos on YouTube with Kev Jumba and other stuff. I'm sure that Jeremy and his friends, between Jeremy and his friends, I would not be surprised if somebody's told him about these videos. Now, does he care about the videos or watch them? I have no idea. But I wouldn't be surprised if he knew about I'll just say it that way. A lot of these players, they know a lot of stuff. You'd be surprised. I know Ron Artest, now Meta World Peace, when he played for the Rockets, he would go on Clutch Fans. I mean, he said that, and which is an internet site for Houston Rockets fans. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jeremy knew about these. Although, like I said, I have no idea, and I'll probably never know or won't know anytime in the near future. So, P. Chung, thanks for the good wishes. We will defeat the Lin-only haters. We know they're out there. They're still there. They're still there in Clutch Fans. They're still here on our videos. They're everywhere. We're going to beat them, and I will rest up so we can vanquish the Lin-only haters. Lin Amos, again, thanks for the nice words. Glad that you enjoy the analysis that we do. Again, like I said, I enjoy doing it. It's fun. I mean, John and I have very analytically oriented minds. We like to analyze stuff. And so this is just me using my mind for basketball and for Jeremy. And, I'm appreciative that my mind works that way. And so glad that you enjoy it. Finally, Jack London. It's good. It's good that your children are learning about the highs and the lows of life and in all things. One of the real mistakes that I think people make in this day and age is that everybody thinks it's all easy all the time, or people think it's all ups and no downs. I mean, here in the United States, and I know that this is the true same around the world now, you got the American Idol thing, or Taiwanese Idol, or whatever version of it is. There's a show and people go on and they sing, and it's a contest. Well, everybody thinks they're going to be a superstar tomorrow. They're going to go on a show and the whole world's going to love them, and it's all good. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work that way for most people. You got to work. You have to struggle. You're going to have some difficulties, and that's one of the things that's one of the reasons why I talk about what Jeremy's not good at in the games. I'll give you a great example of this. There's a very well-known player, I won't mention him right now, this doesn't matter, who, he's got his own little cult of fans. One of the websites just did a thing where they talked about one of the weaknesses in this player's game, and his fans went nuts. Like, oh, yeah, can you talk about that? And it's almost like they don't want you to talk about what he doesn't do well because it ruins his image. That's silly. That's dumb. I understand that desire. Everybody wants their guy to look good. But what's better to me is when you can see a guy improve. We get to see Jeremy from the start. He's got a lot of things still to work on. But what's good is if you can see what he's not good at, then you can see as he improves on those things. It's like we've talked about with the ball handling. Jeremy really was struggling at the beginning of this year, and he struggled a lot last year. Now, he's much better. So you get to see the improvement. The only people, in my opinion, people that don't want you to see them struggle is people that are trying to create a myth. Oh, they're perfect all the time. They've never had hard times. Well, that's not realistic. And it's good, in my opinion, it's good for your children to learn that is real. You are going to have ups and downs. You are going to have to struggle. You are going to have to work. You are going to have doubters and haters, and etc. And that's why I think Jeremy's a good example, because we see all this. And Jeremy is not the most talented guy ever. He's not Russell Westbrook. He's not Derrick Rose in terms of explosiveness and athletic ability and everything. I mean, he's athletic, but not to that extent. So I think in a lot of ways, Jeremy's a guy that people can relate to him. Hey, I'm like that, or he's like me. And that's good. It's like I said, it makes him more real, makes him more relatable to people. And as I said, that's what I try to do with the videos. I try to keep it real. I talk about what he's good at and what he's not good at. And I have people, there's people that are fans, they don't like it when I say certain things about them because they think I'm making them look bad, but I'm not making them look bad. As I said, that's just for the people that want something unrealistic. They want their superheroes and they have no flaws. So nobody's like that. And again, particularly for teaching children, in my opinion, you want to let them know there is nobody like that. Everybody's got to work, and it's hard. And I think, like I said, I think Jeremy's a good example for that. Just wrapping up here, and on the same type of thing, I think that people enjoy these videos, the videos that I do with Jeremy, is because, one, I know what I'm talking about. Two, I try to present it in an easy to understand way. So people all over the world, I try to speak relatively clearly, relatively slowly, so that people can enjoy it from people that aren't native English speakers. And also, and finally, I like Jeremy. So I look at Jeremy in the same way that people that watch these videos do, which is as a fan. They want Jeremy to do well. Now, I look at Jeremy objectively. As I said, I'll point out things that he doesn't do well, but I'm also want him to do well. I'm hoping he does well. I will play up what he does well, whereas other people that are looking at the game or just talking about the game or reporting on the game, they won't bring that up. The headline might be, James Harden scores 29 points and Houston wins. Well, they might have one thing about Jeremy, but that's not what these videos are about. These videos are more about how the game went through the eyes of Jeremy Lin, through Jeremy Lin's interaction with the game. That's what these games are about. I know somebody recently, it's like, oh, why don't you call these games James Harden and the Rockets? Well, because it's not about that. I mean, someone else can do that. And I love James Harden. I respect James Harden. James Harden's the best player on the Rockets. There's no doubt about that. I'm not minimizing James Harden at all. But that's not what these videos are for. That's not why I'm doing them. These are more from Jeremy's perspective and focused on Jeremy. I will talk about the rest of the game just to discuss it, but these are in the context of what Jeremy did, what Jeremy didn't do, etc. And also because I'm focusing on Jeremy, I will know and I will point out when people don't treat him with respect, when opponents aren't respecting him, when he is trying to get some get back, etc. And I think that is the way most of the viewers see it. The people that enjoy watching these videos will see the same things that I see. They'll see if Kevin McHale's taking Jeremy out of the game, maybe too quickly. They'll see if a certain player on Houston isn't giving Jeremy the ball. They'll see if one of the opposing players is trying to make Jeremy look bad. That's what I'm looking at too. That's why I'm seeing it as well. That's what I'm focusing on. And that's why I think these videos work for people, because they know that that's the perspective that I am coming through. I'm coming from. And, so it's almost like a story or like reading a book. If you read a book that's in the first person and the person is talking about what they experience, then you become the person when you read the book. That's what these things are. We are Jeremy Lin. Jeremy Lin is us as viewers. We're experiencing the game through him, through his eyes, living, the word in English is vicariously. We are living vicariously through Jeremy. And that's it. As I said, I'm doing that too. That's what the viewers are doing. That's what people that watch these videos are doing. They're interested in Jeremy, and that's what I'm doing. And that's why I think these videos work, is because of those three things. One, I'm looking at it through Jeremy's eyes. Two, I know what I'm talking about. And three, I try to make it interesting and easily understandable. So that's it. I mean, I was just thinking about that as I was going over some of the comments, and I appreciate the comments that people make. There's a lot of nice words from a lot of people. And as I said, this is no, it's not hard to understand. And it's not that I'm some amazing techno wizard of basketball or whatever. Just, this is what we're trying to do. And hopefully you guys enjoy it, and it seems like you do. And that's it. And that's why it works. So I just wanted to explain that a little bit. Okay, give us your comments below. Thumbs up, thumbs down on the video. We will have full information in the video description below the video player about video highlights of this game, box score, game stories, and information about how you can come and join the Conservative New Media Facebook group, which has over 2,000 members and is growing all the time. Once again, I am Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. Thanks for watching Conservative New Media. We strive to be the #1 Jeremy Lin YouTube fan channel. I hope you guys are having a great day. It's about 10 in the morning here on the East Coast of the United States on Sunday, the 12th, I think it is, or 13th. Have a nice day or night wherever you are when you watch this video. I know in Taiwan it's probably 10 at night right now. So that's all for now. Like I said, I will work on the other video, the comment video, and we will talk to you again soon. Take care.